morning, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe, this Sunday morning, May 23rd, 2021. Let's take a deep breath in together. And exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. We'll relax our bodies, clear our minds. Leave the distractions of the world, of our personal lives, outside these doors, outside of this energetic space that we hold together. For those who are in the room or watching us remotely, we are all enfolded in this experience together. To love, to learn, to remember, to feel, to co-create. And we start this morning with our congregational song. So stand either in body or in spirit as we sing together. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening, 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 I am opening. Good morning. Good morning. And so as we just sang, we are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are one with this presence, this energy that is God. And so we open our heart space a little bit more, allowing ourselves to drop down into that space where we are more aware of that luminous love light, where we know ourselves as that luminous love light, where we know and recognize each other as that luminous love light. We are indeed one. So we continue to breathe together, knowing that when we gather and when we open our hearts and minds, magic happens. Magic happens. Continue to open up, continuing to relax body and mind. Deepening our awareness of the one, of humanity as an integral part of that one. We are one love, one spirit, one peace. We are unity. We are harmony. We are divine. And so now we sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. As one voice, one heart.
Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore.
Good morning, everyone. All right, well, let's bless all our beautiful little children that we have in this beautiful world and everywhere. Okay? Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you. And the inspirational moment today, the word is faith. My power of faith is my ability to believe and have conviction. It is my inner assurance of something before it can be seen. I may not be able to control what happens around me, but I'm always free to choose what happens within me. My perfection determines my experience. When I engage my power of faith, I am assured of my vibrant wholeness that is present even during illness. I have conviction that harmony is possible even during apparent discord. When my needs appear greater than my resources, I have the inner assurance that substance is my limitless supply of divine idea. My inner assurance is of my enduring divinity. It is always greater than any circumstance. I align with my divinity now and set myself free. And please repeat 3 times with me, if y'all would, please. I faithfully focus on my divinity. I faithfully focus on my divinity. I faithfully focus on my divinity. Thank you.
I'd like to say hello. It always seems like there's a big gap in between playing, but every time I'm here, it's just the best feeling. And I also want to have two shout outs. One is to Robin Hackett, who's here. I haven't seen him since in Colorado, and so it's great to see you. And it's because of Robin that I'm here, because she introduced me to this world of music and sharing. And she's the one. She's the catalyst, the pivotal point of my life in that direction. So thank you, Robin. And it's always good to see you and hear you too. Next shout out is a couple behind you. It's great to see you here. And maybe you've been here for weeks now, but it's my first time to see you back, and it's great to see you, because you two were always just part of the glow of this place that really kept it expanding the glow even more and more. Yeah. Not to mention his socks, you know. He's an inspiration to so many people, including me.
All that we are is dust from the stars, refined with fire, but cooled by love. Something inside says run, don't hide. Oh, reach out those spiral arms to find love. It can hurt you. It can burn you. But it's the only way that we can learn how to give more, how to live more. Yes, it's all around. It's raining down. All that we are is dust from stars, raining down. Oh, love, breathe it in now. Breathe it in now, love. Breathe it in now.
About 17 years ago, I was singing in the choir at the first Unity Church I belonged to in Bowie, Maryland, the Unity Center of Light. And I was on the risers, I think in the back row, and we were preparing to sing. And I started to feel really jittery, and the room seemed to get very, very hot to me, and I just felt like there was this inner something that was getting ready to implode in me. The next feeling I had was that my legs were just really, really weak, and that they were not going to hold me up. And I stood there for a minute or two. The music started to play, and we were preparing to sing, and I'm starting to sweat, and I really thought, I don't think this is going to end well. This is not going to end well. It was not going away. I tried some deep breathing, and it just seemed like time slowed down for me. So in this, I don't know how many measures where the accompaniment had started and we're getting ready to sing, I'm thinking, and all this stuff is moving through my head at rapid speed as my body just feels like it's falling apart. And then at one moment I thought, I'm going to pass out. I got to get off of these risers. And so I did. I got off of the risers, left. Quentin was working sound at the time and in the back of the room, and I just left the room and sat down and started hyperventilating, and my whole body just felt weak. And I don't rightly remember, but I think I stayed the rest of the service. But afterwards, the feeling just had not gone away. In fact, it got worse. I felt weaker and weaker. I felt like I was walking around, but feeling like I wasn't going to be able to hold myself up. The heat continued, the jittery feeling, this not being able to control myself. My movements was there. And so Quentin took me to an urgent care place immediately from church. And, you know, I didn't know what to tell them was happening. I just described some of the symptoms. They hooked me up to all kinds of things, did all kinds of tests, and in a couple of hours said, we can't find anything physically wrong with you. And we suggest you go see your doctor. And so I did, and I explained it to her, and she gave me a full workup, blood test and everything, and she says, I can't find anything physically wrong with you. And that feeling continued to happen. Not every day, but every couple of days or so, I would have these moments where I just felt like my body was not working. And it was absolutely terrifying at times. My heart would beat out of my chest. I would feel that heat again. And probably the most frightening thing was the weakness, where I just thought, I'm going to pass out. And I think I ended up in another urgent care not long after. Full workup once again, and they said, you're probably one of the healthiest people that's walked through these doors. Physically, we can't find out what's wrong, if there is anything physically wrong. And so I went back to my doctor again, and Dr. Snow, I've talked about her before. She was my doctor for about 35 years, from the time I was in college up till 2006 when she retired. And she was famous for making us sit down, and she said, well, this is a problem. I mean, we can't find anything physically wrong, but obviously your body is reacting to something. Your body's trying to tell you something. And we sat and we talked for quite a while. We probably talked for an hour, hour and a half. And she said, I think you're not taking care of yourself. She said, you're doing all the right things. You're eating right and you're exercising, but you're working too hard. You're busy all the time. You're putting in 18 hours a day, a lot. You don't rest. You don't take days off. I think your body is asking you to take better care of it and to relax. So she said, let's try some things. So the first thing was, you can't work overtime. And immediately my anxiety level went all the way up. Some more. Should have been good news, but at the time, my job was hectic. Really hectic, and everybody was doing 18 hours a day. We were going in on weekends. I was taking work home just to be able to feel like I was not as far behind the 8 ball as I would have been if I hadn't been working overtime. And the doctor said, just no, because she said, at the rate you're going, something is going to happen because you're getting really strong signals that you're on the pathway to something ugly. So we can pay attention to this or not. So I said, okay, I won't work overtime. So I told my boss. He was angry. It's like, well, all of us are, at the time he had Bell's palsy now because of the stress. Barely walking down the hall. All of us were stressed to the gills, and he was angry. He was just angry. And I said, doctor's orders. I don't know what's happening, and so I didn't. However, I would go home at 5 o'clock, and I would worry about the work that was not getting done. So I carried that anxiety with me. And slowly but surely, my doctor and I talked about different modalities that I could start doing that would help me relax. So I started yoga. She actually had me on tranquilizers for a while just to kind of bring down, because I started having migraines as I was going to work. It was just terrible. My whole body just felt like it was a wreck. So I started yoga. I started going to a Tai Chi center where we were doing Qigong. I was taking time off, but then I had to talk to myself that this time off was good for me and my body. I was doing affirmations all the time. I was meditating longer. There were probably 5, 6, 7, 8 things that I did over between daily practice and throughout the week until I could get my body back to where it felt normal again. I had gotten so out of alignment with the rhythms of life and with my own physical and mental and emotional rhythms that my body just went haywire. Just went haywire. And it took about 3 months for things to settle down. And I found that on the days when I did not rest, nurture myself, relax, meditate, do yoga, the whole list, the symptoms would come back. And they would come back strong. And they would scare me again. I would say, okay, I'm not going to ignore this again. And so I would talk to my body. I'd get these symptoms, and I would say, all right, I hear you. And do yoga. Obviously, it's important. Let me go. And so it forced me into creating a new rhythm for my life. It forced me into taking better care of myself. It forced me to slow down. It forced me to slow down. And I find, even though that period of time went away and I went through that season, I find now that if I get back into that kind of chaos again, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, those symptoms come back. And that's a reminder to me that I've gone AWOL again. I'm not taking care of me the way I should. And here's that mind-body-spirit connection, where the body will tell us what it needs and what it wants. And it will tell us when we're in trouble long before we get into serious trouble. And it communicates with us in ways that sometimes are strange, sometimes are loud, sometimes it's quiet. But if we pay attention, we can do something about it. So I was able to work through that season of my life, and that's why daily practice is so important to me. So very, very important. It's vital to my life. I don't know what would have happened if I had continued on with those symptoms and just navigated life like I was on this frenetic pace. One of my favorite books ever is a book called Sabbath, Finding Rest, Renewal, and Delight in Our Busy Lives. The author is Wayne Muller. And one of the reasons why I love this, I love literature anyway, and I love a well-written book. But the book is all about our lives and how to create Sabbath in our lives. Most of us think of Sabbath as Sunday, as this here. And we think of the commandment, keep the Sabbath holy. And we think of it as one day a week. Wayne Muller says it's so much more than that. The book is poetic and just beautifully written, and it helped me find this beauty in rest, and a beauty in taking care of myself, beauty and necessity of slowing down. This is some of what Wayne Muller says. If busyness can become a kind of violence, we do not have to stretch our perception very far to see that Sabbath time, effortless, nourishing rest, can invite a healing of this violence. When we consecrate a time to listen to the still, small voices, we remember the root of inner wisdom that makes work fruitful. We remember from where we are most deeply nourished and see more clearly the shape and texture of the people and things before us. All life has emptiness at its core. It is the quiet, hollow reed through which the wind of God blows and makes the music that is our life. How beautiful is that? All life has emptiness at its core. It is the quiet, hollow reed through which the wind of God blows and makes the music that is our life. Busyness is violence. And how many of us, especially in this Western culture, commit violence to our bodies and souls by this frenetic pace that we keep all the time? By the frenetic noise that is our phones, that is the world that we live in. You can barely go to a restaurant and have quiet because there are 20 TVs on the walls, music playing loudly so that you can barely hear the people at your table talking to you. And above that is the clatter of the dishes and other people's voices. On the TV, while you're watching, messages are going below your movie or your TV show to tell you more. Even though you're already watching one thing, there's more being displayed to you. There's no mental quiet unless we seek it out and carve it out for our lives. Effortless, nourishing rest. Wayne Muller also goes on to say, if we do not allow for a rhythm of rest in our overly busy lives, illness becomes our Sabbath. Our pneumonia, our cancer, our heart attack, our accidents create Sabbath for us. I was talking to a cousin of mine the other day. She had COVID, ended up in the hospital. She was on oxygen all the time. She was in ICU. We did not think she was going to make it. And then she came back home, And then she relapsed and went back in the hospital again because it had not really gone away. Teresa does not rest. She works all the time. And when she's not working, she does for other people. And she does lots of stuff for family, for friends, for neighbors. She's always busy. Always doing this. Her husband owns a business. And so sometimes she helps him. On the weekends, she's very handy and she redoes kitchens and things like that. And so she would have work on the weekends when she's not at her job, doing double shifts. And what she said to me the other day was, yeah, I've needed time off. COVID gave me a vacation. And she said, I sure as heck didn't want to do it like this. But it's the first time she's taken off any time from work and from her busy life in years. Years. She's been on this journey since January. She may go back to work this week. She tried to go back 2 weeks ago. Body wasn't having it. She got to work. She couldn't make it past 2 hours. She works at Home Depot. She's a manager. She's 2 hours on the floor. She said, I can't do it. She had to go back home. For years, she didn't take time off. Now she got half a year, just about, off. And now she's in therapy. She's in speech therapy because all of the oxygen and everything she had to have done affected her vocal cords. She's having trouble just walking around the house. It's probably going to take her another 3 to 6 months to get back to where she was before. That's violence to the body. That's violence.
Abuse.
Yes. What does it take for us to realize that we are a part of nature? So the metaphysical meaning of Sabbath is the seventh. Means restoration, restitution. How many of us owe restitution to our bodies? What debt do you owe your body for the paces you put it through? It also means to return to a former state, at one-ment, atonement, completion, perfection, wholeness, repose, and rest. Sabbath is a state of mind that man enters or acquires when he goes into the silence of his own soul, into the realm of spirit. There he finds true rest and peace. The seventh day means the seventh or perfect stage of one's spiritual unfoldment. This is what Charles Fillmore says, one of Unity's co-founder. He offers this. It would seem that if God ordained a certain day for rest and rested on that day himself, he ought certainly to have left some evidence of it in his creations. But he has not, that nobody knows of. The fact is that divine mind rests in a perpetual Sabbath, and that which seems work is not work at all. When man becomes so at one with the Father mind as to feel it consciously, he also recognizes this eternal peace in which all things are accomplished. He then knows that he is not subject to any condition whatsoever, but is Lord of the Sabbath. Then he goes to the scripture about the flowers, the trees. They toil not, neither do they spin, but are always obedient to a divine instinct, and their every day is a Sabbath. Every day is a Sabbath. When I had cats, Riley was one of them. Every day, at some point, he started coming to my desk in my office at home, and he started tapping like my knee with his paw because he wanted attention. And it was always at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Always at 3 o'clock. It was like an alarm clock. So he would just, no matter where he was in the house, he would come to me at 3 o'clock. And he would start tapping me, and of course I was busy, so I didn't pay attention to him. And I would kind of push him away. And so then the claws would come out so that he would say, I'm really trying to get your attention. And so he would stick me a little bit. And I'm still not paying attention because I'm busy. Go away, Riley. And then he would kind of nip me on the leg. And if I still didn't pay attention to me, he would get up on my desk and spread out over my keyboard. And he was a big boy, so he covered the keyboard. And I would pick him up and put him on the floor. And he would jump right back up on the desk and spread out on the keyboard. And then, of course, across my screen are all kinds of letters because he's moving around. And I would pick him up and put him back on the floor. And he did that every single day until I realized Riley is giving me a break. So I put him on my lap, and I would pet him, and he would purr and knead his paws. And he would stay for about 10 minutes. And finally I said, well, this is nice. Thank you, Riley. Because otherwise I would have plowed through the rest of my afternoon. And so when he started coming in my office, and I was realizing that he was giving me a gift, the two of us would commune for 10 minutes at 3 o'clock every day. And in 10 minutes, he'd go back to whatever he was doing before he came to me. And he gave me a Sabbath in my day. I'll never forget that. It took an animal to come and give me what I needed. And I don't know if he was sent to me. Who knows? No, he's a cat. It's probably all about him. That's how cats are. He wanted me at 3 o'clock. But in that, he gave me a gift. And he taught me that it's okay for me to take 10 minutes. And I was more focused and I was more productive after my break. I was happier after my break. I was more relaxed after my break. Mornings are usually my time to be focused and creative and productive, but I could do that after 3:10 p.m., after he went on about his way. That's what rest gives us. Here where Wayne Muller says, again, we remember the root of inner wisdom that makes work fruitful. Because there's work, and there's knuckling through the day to get something done, and then there's being able to bring your passion and your heart and your focus to whatever that you're working on. And making your work fruitful. Not just something to tick off and get off of your desk. He said here it enables us to see more clearly the shape and texture of the people and things before us. Riley, my cat, I saw as a gift. Rest allows us to pay attention to the people in our lives that we love and gives us more energy for them so that we can show up in our fullness with them. That's what rest is for, so that we can see the people in front of us. I have gotten in work rhythms where I'm at this frenetic pace and I forget who I'm living with. And we pass each other in the night. And then we took a weekend off and I was like, oh my gosh, hi. We weren't just ships in the night anymore. We are spending real time together. You know, in Hebrew, Sabbath means rest also. But they said this is an inadequate translation. To say that Shabbat means a Sabbath of rest only tells half the story. In the Shabbat liturgy, we are given a more complete, many-layered understanding of the word. It is a rest of love freely given, a rest of truth and sincerity, a rest in peace and tranquility, in quietude and safety. Yet at the same time, it is a rest yoked in the same breath to holiness. And inextricably linked to that concept is the fact that this rest comes from the Almighty and exists so that we might glorify God's name, to bring holiness to God. So that's in Jewish liturgy, and here in unity speak, we would say it's in rest that we get to appreciate and embrace our divinity and the peace that is our divinity. And that feeds us. And we get to remember that we are that peace. That the peace of God is truly ours. And that it resides in this body. It expresses as this body, as this mind, as my heart, as my soul. And that as long as I'm frenetically running through my day, I don't hear or feel my divinity. I am less able to tune into Spirit speaking to me. We've talked about this before. We have this inner GPS where our intuition, Spirit, is talking to us all the time throughout the day. A thought, a word, something is being said to us, leading us through our day to our highest and best. And if we are running at 1,000,000 miles an hour, we can't hear because of the noise of the world, the noise of our brains, of what our thinking. And when we chill out, when we slow down, then we can hear. Oh, pay attention to my cat. Oh, go take a nap. Oh, go hug my husband. Linger in the hug. Take a day off. Oh, your friend is calling. You got a list of things to do. Talk to her anyway. Text somebody and tell them you love them. Linger a while in the bed in the morning. Meditate a little bit longer. Go take the vacation. Go celebrate the birthday. Take the time to go to the funeral. Slow down and give somebody a hug. Slow down and give someone a smile as you walk by them. Treat yourself to something. Slow down and enjoy your meal. Taste it for once. How many of us, me, eat mindlessly, never tasting enjoying, luxuriating in the good taste of something. I don't know why I'd never tasted butternut squash. For some reason, and then I ordered one by mistake. And first I didn't know what it was. But I had it, and I decided I'm just going to cook this. So I was cooking some vegetables on high heat, like in a wok, but I don't have a wok. And I thought I'm going to cut up this butternut squash and just throw it in with the rest of the stuff I have. Man, was that good. And every single time I put another piece in my mouth, I thought, oh, I love butternut squash. And I had a moment where I could appreciate that. And now when I order my vegetables that are delivered to my house, butternut squash is on the list every week now. I can't wait to eat it again. But I allowed myself a moment, and I thought, what does this really taste like? I love squash. I eat green and yellow squash all the time. Butternut squash has got to be good, too. I just never thought about it. But the squash and I had a moment together. And I thought, I'm loving you, butternut squash. Yeah. Yeah. I got a thing for butternut squash before. What if I had just thrown it out and decided I'm not going to do that? But I decided when I cook it, I'm going to taste it and enjoy it. And I had a moment. That was a Sabbath for me, especially as fast as I eat. I do slow down more now. That's the stuff of life that feeds us, that nurtures us, that gives us joy in between the work. But here, Charles Fillmore is saying that we can find that joy, that peace, that rest, even while we're working, if we'll slow down. If we'll slow down. And science is starting to show that we get nothing done by multitasking. The brain doesn't like it. It is stressful and causes anxiety. And we're not really productive. We don't really get more done. And it's stressful. So you're not serving yourself. So Sabbath is not about just Sunday. These are moments of peace and rest that your body needs. Don't do to yourself what I did to me 17 years ago. Don't get there. Luxuriate in your life. Rest. Be in those moments. That's what meditation is for. Most of us think of meditation as that obligation to do every single day because that's spiritual practice and that's what I say we're supposed to do. I better meditate. Meditation is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Yes, it's soul food. And for me, when I sit in meditation, that may be the only time of the day when I don't have to be anything for anybody. I'm so happy that in that half an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever it is, that I just get to be. And it's quiet. And it's easy and it's peaceful and I feel my body rest. And sometimes I'm so peaceful I'm not even aware of my heart beating. Where other times when I'm running through my day, this is hammering. Telling me to slow down and take a breath. And the easiest, quickest way to slow down the heart is to slow your breathing. Breathe in, take it in, breathe out. And the heart will follow the breath. But if you're running, the heart runs. And when you're on alarm, the whole body's on alarm. And all things go cattywampus. Cattywampus is not good. The body doesn't like cattywampus. The body loves peace. The mind, the heart, the soul love peace. So build Sabbath into every single day, several times a day. Take a break. Take a break, take a break, take a break before you break you. Stop being violent with your lives, with your bodies, with your hearts, with your souls. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Let's take this into meditation. Let's breathe. Just breathe. Enjoying the silence, the stillness. Enjoying and luxuriating in the peace that is God, that is you at your core. Just breathe. And listen to your body. And ask yourself, do you owe yourself, your body and your mind and your spirit restitution? Do you need to ask for forgiveness for the violence you have brought upon it? Just breathe and be. Just be. Knowing that at any moment, at any time, you can return to this. And the more you return, the more we know that this state, this peace, can surround us, envelop us, at work and at rest. That this peace can be ours in every moment of every day. That we are nature. We are part of the natural world. We too have a rhythm, a balance. We have an ebb and a flow. And being at one with the ebb and the flow allows us to be at our best, to have more energy for love, for play, for each other, for our beloved, for ourself as the beloved. That we have more to give to ourselves, to each other. That we have more to live for ourselves and for each other. We are the waning and waxing of the moon. We are the spring, summer, fall, and winter. Yes, we are stardust, raining down, raining easily. Nourishing all of life with our gifts. So let's just breathe and be. Breathe. Affirming life, affirming rest, peace, restoration. body heals in rest. The mind heals in rest. The soul, the heart heal at rest. We are peace. We are peace. You are peace. You are peace. And so we breathe in together as peace, breathing peace in, breathing peace out. Breathing peace in, breathing peace out. Knowing there is an infinite supply, every moment, every day, every week, every month, every year. Life is Sabbath, and Sabbath is life. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. Let's read our celebration of giving together. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is. Good to have you back.
I was born on a Sunday with a view of a gold gate, and the walls were moving as I reached my hand to you. Learn to walk on a steep hill, falling down my first thrill. All along, you beside me, with your arms reached out. I can still remember sunny days in September. All my days fell in love on a Tuesday. You were hands to my wet clay, and the walls were moving as I reached my heart. I have tasted cloud nine, felt the heat of sunshine. All my days loud as the trees swayed and the wall stopped moving as I reached my hand to you. I can still remember sunny days in September. Oh, 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 my day.
I was just on a boat somewhere, floating with the breeze over me. Yeah. Do that again. Let's take a moment now as we breathe in and feel that loveliness, that peace, that harmony. And remember those for whom we want to pray in this moment. You can speak their names out loud.
Vicky, Sue, Molly, James, Donna. My friend Lori, she had shoulder replacement and she's in a lot of pain right now.
For the Powell family and for PJ, for Angel, Dee Dee,
Alejandro.
for Evelyn, Steve, for Doreen, for the family of Norma Collins, for Tony, Nick, and Lucille, for Melinda and the Allen family, for Tony and Danielle, Teresa, Jerry, Lola and family, for Renee, and for Cheryl. For all those that we have named, and for all those who have gone unnamed in this moment, but who live in our hearts and minds, and for whom we pray now in this moment. We know that their highest and best is at work in their lives right now, and that they are also stardust, and they are magnificence, and that their divinity is at work in their lives right here and right now. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. And we give thanks for all the time, treasure, and talent that flows into this community, helping us to thrive and grow and do all the work that we are called to do to bring a message of love, peace, joy, prosperity, and unity. Amen. And Fred, you wanted to come up?
Well, I inadvertently didn't tell a joke last time I was up here, so I got questioned, chastised, and reminded that part of my job is to bring a little bit of levity to the situation. So, without further ado, my grandson turned 7 yesterday. So this reminded me of this story about this little 7-year-old that's standing in this big church lobby in this giant church, and it has all of these plaques on each of the walls that were dedicated to the service people that died. And the preacher walked up and he said, isn't that amazing? And the little boy said, yeah. He said, what is all that? And he said, well, those are all the people that died in service. And he goes, wow. Was it the 9:30 service or the 11 o'clock service? So you have to be careful when you're talking to a 7-year-old, because they may not mean the same thing you mean. We are just about finished with phase 1 of our brick project that we've been doing for the past year. I will remind everybody that we're going to do one more installation, that we have 10 spots, 10 bricks left for anybody that's been in the service, anybody that's been in the police, fire, EMTs. They don't have to be passed, they can still be living. We just need their name, their city that they work for, and what they were, okay? If they were in the service, we need their name, their branch of service, and what rank that they had. And then we have 8 spots left in the memorial section, or the section if you just want to put something on a brick and have it put in there to memorialize. So we have 18 spots left. Now, that's where we are. You have a deadline now of June 15th to have these orders in. They will not cost you anything. We have a sponsor, we have a donor that has agreed that he would finish up our last 18 spots in our brick project. So anyone that wants a brick, all you have to do is fill out a form or send Kim the information on an email, and she will be more than happy to pass that on to us. We will get the brick ordered, we'll get it installed. So June 15th is our deadline, so that we can get them installed by the 1st of July. Okay? Thank you.
Hey, Kim, Rusty's going to do the last song for the congregation.
But, there's room for others to join in. So
So we have our mission.
Hold space for the good things in your life. Hold space for the good things in your life. Create a pathway to your heart. Create a pathway to your heart. the love that's all around. Receive the love that's all around. Hold space, create, receive love.
All right. Mission and vision. Okay. All right, well, let's read the mission and vision all together.
We are Unity Spiritual Center, Saxy. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers, transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teachings and demonstrations of unity principles towards the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us.
Yum, yum, eat 'em up.
That's funny.
Yum, yum.
Thank you very much for spending your Sunday morning with us. Again, it is your presence, your love, your energy that makes this place the very special experience that it is, whether you're sitting here in front of me or you've joined us online. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and build some Sabbath into your days. I challenge you to do it every single day this week. Namaste.
Namaste.